Hi, good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you're tuning in from. My name is Sha Encino, and I'm so happy that you are here. You can join us in our live. This is streaming live via YouTube and Facebook as well. So if you're watching right now, please say hi in the comments so we can greet you as well. Today is such a special episode because, as we all know, because of the COVID-19 pandemic, we're all home, right? We spend maybe 99% of our time at home. So it is so important to learn how to be happy at home, how to make your home spark joy for you. And that is exactly the topic that we're going to tackle tonight. If this is your first time to if this is your first time in my channel, please feel free to subscribe to my YouTube channel. So we'll post the link here now, and then just click that link so you can subscribe to my YouTube channel, so you can get updated on my videos regarding personal development and gratitude as well. So let me introduce our guest speaker for tonight. She is a certified KonMari consultant from the Philippines. She supports homeowners and professionals in their tidying journeys. She is happily married to Dominic Castillejos, and she loves being in her second home, which is Batanes. I'm so pleased to welcome to this show my good friend Renelyn Tan Castillejos, or I call her Ren. Hi, Ren.
Hi, Sha. Hello. Thank you so much for having me. And hello to all of your viewers. I hope that they're excited to learn how to spark joy in their homes.
Yes, and Ren, I love talking to you because you seem to have this vibe of sparking joy in people.
I
I
guess
know,
that it came with experience.
yes, I know many people who know you would attest to this, right? So, Ren
Thank
and
you.
I have known each other for a couple of years now. We first met in Toastmasters. It's a public speaking organization. And then she was the one who invited me to this life-changing journey, which is called LEAP program,
Yeah.
wherein I really learned how to love myself more and how to love myself better through that program. So I'm so grateful to Ren because, I've attended so many personal development programs here in the Philippines and abroad. And with all honesty, I can say that that is the best program that I've ever attended. So
Wow.
thank you, Ren.
Thank you for trusting me when I invited you. You deserve it. You deserve all the love that you are now experiencing for yourself.
You're welcome. And if you have friends right now who are from LEAP, LEAP, please say hi. And if you have any questions for Ren as we go through this live, please also post them in the comment section, and Ren would be happy to answer them.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. Hello to all our leaper friends. Hello, hello.
Yes. So, Ren, what are you most grateful for right now?
For me, I'm really most grateful for being healthy and being able to still share my gift. And I believe my gift is being able to spread joy through helping people tidy their homes. And I thought that when the pandemic started, I won't be able to do that anymore because, of course, I couldn't do any face to face tidying. But I guess when your purpose is really very clear, I am able, or you're able to just be creative. And so I've turned to virtual. And I know that you're also doing so well, still continuing to share that message, your message to your viewers. So that's what I'm grateful for, being able to still do what I think my purpose is in this world and also being healthy.
Speaking of purpose, Ren, when did you discover your purpose to spark joy in homes? And how was the process for you?
I guess my journey in being a KonMari consultant and I guess learning how to spark joy in my home is very new. And when I say new, I'm talking about 2 to 3 years ago. Because before I became a KonMari consultant, my life really revolved on the nonprofit sector. I was going through so many different programs for young people, for training them all over Asia Pacific. And at that time, all I knew best was how to take care of other people. And then when I got married, I realized that I can't take care of my husband if I don't love myself first and foremost. And so my first year in being married was very fulfilling, but also had its share of asking myself, is this really my best version of myself as a wife? And I guess that's how the KonMari method came into the picture, because like growing up, I was so used to having a lot of things, because that was also my mom's love language for us. She wanted us to have extra items all the time so we don't get hungry, we don't get to feel that we don't have enough school supplies and all of those things. So growing up, I thought it was normal just to have extra items. But when I had our own home with my husband, I realized that he enjoyed space and he didn't like a lot of things. And so that was the adjustment period for us, because he was always joking with me and asking, why do you have all of these utensils when there's only two of us and we rarely have visitors at home? And so it started off as being funny, but then I realized that I was slowly using retail therapy to get through whatever it is I was going through at that time, at that adjustment period of the first year of getting married. And I don't know why, but this book, I'm showing it to you.
Yes.
This book, The Life-Changing Magic of Tidying Up by Marie Kondo, I was able to see it again after so many years of buying it from the bookstore. And I said, maybe I need to do this for my home. And so for 3 straight hours, I still remember January of 2018, I decided to just KonMari my home. And I followed the method. And I was so surprised because at the end of that 3 hour journey, I just was able to do my bedroom. But it was so fulfilling. And I felt as if there was a heavy weight lifted off my shoulders, because when I removed all of the things that didn't work anymore in my life, I was able to think clearer. I was able to also tell myself I want to start my own business and still help my husband. And because of that, I said, I think I know a lot of people, my family and friends, who have so many things in their homes, and sometimes they feel stressed, sometimes they feel like they don't know what to do. And said, if this method worked for me, I think it can definitely help a lot of people. So I just did my research, and by accident, I learned that there's a certification process that Marie Kondo does, and I went
Mhm.
through that. And in 2018, I went to New York, met with her, had
Wow.
some other classmates. There were 80 of us who wanted to be certified consultants. And my journey happened, I guess it was about a year that I finished. It took a long time for me because I was also helping out with my husband's business. And so I became certified in 2019. And it's really just a feeling that I'm always grateful every day that I know now that my purpose is to continue making the world a better place. And in a very practical sense, I do that through tidying. Because I
Wow.
don't know if you know this, job, but when I was in college, I took up political science.
Mhm.
And my only dream then was I wanted to work at the United Nations. I wanted to help save the world. But I also realized that at this stage in my life, if that's the career that I'll be choosing, maybe it's not something I won't be able to see my family and my husband. And so I decided to just stay here in the Philippines and find out what will work for me. And now that I know it and it's very clear, even if there are days when tidying can be tiring or there are some challenges when it comes to how can the client be helped, everything still works out because I think I know that my purpose is clear, and that's to help make the world a better place by sharing my joy and doing that through tidying the KonMari way.
Wow, and I really love, Ren, how you're able to marry your personality, which is you're such a joyful person, and at the same time marry it with your profession. So it's
Yes.
all aligned, and I can feel your joy in talking because I know how it feels like to really know your purpose and to have that opportunity to do your purpose on a daily basis and to make your purpose your profession, right? Because if you do that, work is play and play is work. So Ren, you touched
True.
on two keywords. One is self-love and the other one is purpose. So you mentioned about self-love, how important it is for you to love yourself first so that you can love your husband better, right? Because
Yeah.
I know that you're so used to giving, giving, giving. You being the eldest in your amongst your siblings, so you're so used to giving, giving, and serving people. So how was the transition? How did you learn to love yourself? And for all those who are listening right now, what are the tips that you can give them for them to love themselves better?
A lot of people, they know me as a very jolly person, and they know that when I'm there, I would often, not by choice, but I think that's really just how I am. I would be able to put smiles on people's faces. But I guess the reason why I'm able to go in that very happy space was because I also experienced how it was to be really sad, or to be really alone,
Mm.
and to feel like confused, or not knowing what I wanted to do. So, of course, those periods I was able to experience. And most of the time, when I have those moments, I'm usually alone. I'm usually not the type who would share, oh, I feel sad. And so it was a long process for me. But I realized that because I knew how that space felt, I know that I also didn't want to go there. And so I really worked on ways on how I can be more appreciative of where I am, using gratitude, turning to my faith, and also being able to just see each day as a blessing. And so I guess that's why whenever I say to myself that, why is it that I can still smile even if there are challenges along the way? And it's because I've experienced what it meant to be sad, and I don't want to be there anymore. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that I don't feel sad, but when I do, of course, I get to acknowledge that emotion. So
Yep.
for me, it's important not to mask the sadness with happiness. For me, when I feel sad, I do that, but I'm now able to shift by looking at the bright side after maybe a few days or a few hours. So I still feel the emotion, but I make sure that I don't dwell on that, because at the end of the day, if I dwell too much on the problem, then I'm the one who's going to be really affected. So I don't want to do that, because my purpose in life, to me, I see that as bigger than myself. So I guess there's that balance where I need to give myself that time, that self love, so that I can also give to the world and to whoever it is that will be helped by the KonMari journey.
Exactly. And I just want to emphasize what you said about not masking sadness with happiness. And it's so important to acknowledge how we're feeling, right? I remember
Yeah,
one of the psychologists that I interviewed, Dr. Peggy DeLong, she said that there are no negative emotions. There are
true.
only uncomfortable emotions. So sadness is not necessarily a negative emotion, because like what you said, you know how it feels to be happy because you know how it felt to be sad.
Yes. And I learned that so much, those lessons, those valuable lessons from the LEAP program. So I'm
Mhm.
very grateful. And I'm happy that you also mentioned that at the beginning, because at first I said, is it bad to feel sad? But I realized that when you go through all of those emotions, then you get to know what you want and what you don't want in life.
Right. Wow, so much gem, Ren. I love talking to you. Let us greet first those who are watching right now. So Omeng says, "Good evening, Sha and
Good
Ren. Health is
evening.
a blessing." And then
Yeah.
Johanna said, "Good evening."
Good
Barat also said,
evening.
"Good evening." So thank you for watching.
Hello.
If you have any questions for Ren, please feel free to type them in the comment section, and we'll ask Ren as we go through the interview. So Ren, let's talk about KonMari. How do you do? What is KonMari? How do you actually do it?
So KonMari is a very unique way of decluttering your home, of tidying your home. And when it comes to the rule to follow, there's just one simple question that you need to ask yourself. Ask yourself if all the things inside your home right now spark joy for you. Do they make you happy? Do they add value to your life? And if your answer is no or not anymore, then my challenge to you is be courageous, or be ready to say thank you to that item and let go of it in a responsible way. Maybe you can donate it, you can sell it, you can give it to someone who really wants it. And at the end of the day, our goal is to have a home that makes you happy, that makes you relax, that makes you want to stay at home. And so that's the KonMari method. It was started by Marie Kondo. She's a Japanese organizing consultant and also a best-selling author. And the first time I met her, I totally
Mhm.
understood why the Spark Joy method works. When she entered the room in our training seminar space, we were all in awe. And she was
Wow.
walking as if she filled the whole room with so much positive energy. And
Wow.
that's the secret of the KonMari method. It's not about the things, it's not about the items in your home, but rather what's most important is yourself, and knowing that if you value yourself so much, then what you want to do is to surround yourself with items that make you valuable as well. What do I mean by that? Sometimes I've seen this in myself in the beginning when I wasn't doing KonMari yet. I like to hold on to a lot of items, thinking maybe that it was expensive or it was nice or it was branded. But then some of these items I don't use anymore. I have no
Mhm.
plans of using, or it's not even my style. But that mentality of, oh, it will go to waste has stopped me from taking it outside my home and giving it to someone who might need it more. But once I was able to let go of the item, then I was able to have space for the things that truly mattered in my life.
Wow.
So
So
that's
karma.
what Mari can be.
So it's something deep because it begins with how you value yourself and how you love yourself, and you just want to surround yourself with things that would actually add value to you. And also, Ren, it's also deep because it's hard to let go of things, right? I
Yes.
think one of the most difficult lessons that we need to learn is the art of letting go. Maybe letting go of people, letting go of things, and it starts with letting go of things. So how do you make it easier to let go of, let's say you have a book that you really love
Mm-hmm.
and you're done reading that book or those books, but you feel like maybe I will still read it in the future, in the next few years, or maybe when I have children, I want them to read this book as well. So how do you let go of those books?
I guess the first thing that I can give as a tip is the value of gratitude. So, a lot of people, myself included, at the beginning, I couldn't let go of maybe my favorite book because I was thinking, maybe I'll still read this, or maybe, yes, I can have someone read it who might be able to use it. But then, there are certain items in our home that you also know, if you're very honest with yourself, that it it's not part of who you are anymore. And when you put in the value of gratitude, when you say
Wow.
thank you to that item, and say, for
Mhm.
example, maybe in the few months or in a few years, I will say goodbye to the life changing magic of tidying up because I've already memorized it or put everything by heart. And so when that time comes, I will say thank you to this book, and I will ask myself, where can I give this, or who can I give this to? And remember to not have any feelings of guilt when you give away an item that was once important to you. Because at the end of the day, when you're giving away an item, it's not as if you don't like it anymore, but it's not just part of who you are. And maybe
My God.
there are certain things in life that you deserve to have, but if you don't let go of those that don't work, it will never have space. So come from a place of gratitude. I always tell this to my clients, and I say that when we're doing KonMari, I hope that you don't come from a place of scarcity where you
Mhm.
feel that if I give this away or if I donate this, that might mean I will lose value in myself, or maybe I will lose financial abundance. But if you think the other way, think about coming from a place of abundance where even if you have fewer items, but if these items are actually very precious to you and give you so much value, then you win. It's a win-win situation. So remember, if you want to do KonMari, come from a place of abundance and gratitude and not scarcity.
Wow. So Ren, I know you were also a coach for Leap. So when you do KonMari for your clients, do you also process them? Because
Mm-hmm.
it may be easy to just give away the things, but it will become easier once the resistance has been addressed, right? So do you do that?
So for me, when I first meet with a new client, I guess I'm there as a friend to them, because
Mm-hmm.
to me it's a privilege that people let me in their homes, trust me with their private items, with their special belongings, and to me, I put so much value in there. So the trust for me is very, very important. So when I come to someone's home, I really come as a friend. I really come as someone who just sincerely wants them to be happy at home. And it just so happens that the method that I'm able to share with them is how can they see happiness through their space by also filling the home with items of value. And so the coaching that I have learned in terms of the skills, it's very, very handy to me. But I start everything as a relationship, and I start with the trust. And once they see that the trust is there, they're the ones who open up. And I also am able to give them a lot more questions, a lot more inputs in terms of how they can let go or how they want to keep an item or not. Because at the end of the day, as a KonMari consultant, I'm not the one who will tell them what to keep or what to discard.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really
Right.
just there to ask them the hard questions so that at the end they realize that, oh, they want this or they don't want this anymore.
When you first began your KonMari method in your own home, did you find it difficult to let go of some items? What
Yes.
were those items and how did you deal with it?
It's so funny, Sha. When I did my first decluttering after my bedroom, because I was going through the different items in my home, I found that I still kept my class cards from college. And I was like, why do I have these
Oh my
things?
God.
But at that, I'm a very sentimental person, and
Uh-huh.
so when I saw the class cards, I was very proud of myself. I was very grateful, but I was also at the stage where I said, "Okay, these class cards serve me so well. It's nice to look at them, but I'm ready to let go of them." And so I
Oh.
thank that whole experience of the university, and I there was one subject that I really liked, so I kept one. So there's no stopping you from keeping the things that are truly valuable. So
Mhm.
if, for example, maybe you'd like to discard some items, but then there's one or two special items, then don't stop yourself from keeping it. Because if it still makes you inspired, if it still makes you motivated to do your projects, then keep it and enjoy it. The thing you don't want to do is to keep your items where you don't see it and they don't serve its purpose in your home anymore.
Mhm. So in a way, do you feel that KonMari is somehow similar to minimalism?
That's a great question, Cha, because I think a lot of people equate the KonMari method with minimalism, but I always share them. We always tell them that that's not the case because the KonMari method allows you to ask yourself what makes you happy in your home. So to some people, that might mean minimalism. To
Uh-huh.
others, it can mean a home that's filled with so many plants. To others, it can mean a home that's very colorful with a lot of their
Mhm.
collections. So that's what the KonMari method
I
can
see.
allow you to do. Minimalism can be a result for someone who likes to have that, but if
Right.
that's not what you want in your home, then that's not what we'll do. So what I will be able to ask you is to figure out what truly makes you happy in your life. If it's art, if it's nature, if it's collectibles or special items, then that's what we'll highlight in your own homes.
Mm-hmm. So I consider myself a minimalist, Nax,
Yes.
self-proclaimed. But I have 200 plus plants in my home
And are you
and
happy?
very happy and lots of books. So I think those are
Yes.
the only two items that I love collecting. So books and plants.
I'm
And
so
the
proud
others,
of you.
thank you. The others, I'm not attached. I'm not attached to any other material things. Yeah.
That's great that you know because for so many people, they because they don't know what makes them happy, they keep on bringing items. They keep on trying out items. It's okay if you just bring in one, but if you have a lot, some people when they buy, for example, one design, they make sure they buy all of the colors. Or, for example, for clothes, you have a lot of things. But one thing you have to remember and consider is ask yourself if you have space because if you
Mhm.
don't have the space, chances are what you will do is you will pile one book after the other, you will pile clothes on top of the other, and what will be happening is you won't be able to see the items. And if that's the case, that's not really respecting each of the items that you have in your home.
Respecting each of the item as if the item has a feelings.
Respecting the item because number one, you worked hard for it or someone gave
Yes.
it to you and it's
Mm-hmm.
your home. And so sometimes if the item, for example, just is lying around and it doesn't have a special spot or a special space where you will put it, then that's also how tidying can sometimes be overwhelming. Because think about it this way: if you want to have a home that's tidy, you need to have a parking slot for each and every item in your home. Because once you do that, even if, for example, you go home tired, and even if you're tired, you can just sleep. The next day, when you wake up, when you're energized again, it's very possible for you now to return all of the things maybe in 10 or 15 minutes because you know where each item goes.
So there is a place for each item. Wow.
Yes.
So
Yes.
if that's the case, you don't need to find where did I put my keys? Where's my watch? Where's my cell
Yes.
phone?
And
Right?
so to me that's very helpful. Like
Mhm.
knowing where I will put it, because sometimes I've realized when I was trying to fix my home and it didn't have, not all items have a space, then sometimes
Mhm.
I'll feel lazy. I'm like, where will I put this? Because that can mean that I need to remove one box, one crate so that I can just keep one item. But if everything is within easy reach and you have a parking space for everything, then there's no problem anymore. You're going to be
Wow.
happy with your home.
Ren, I'm just curious, what's on your back? Is that a whiteboard?
Oh, this is a whiteboard because this room was really my husband's home office. But
Oh,
since
okay.
the travel business is closed right now, so there's nothing. But I put there three of my favorite inspirational quotes, and so I look at those, and it's just something that reminds me to keep on going every day. And
Mhm.
the one that has color, it says there's always beauty in the world. And
Oh,
that's
nice.
always a good reminder for me every day. Sometimes when I wake up in the morning, I feel great. There are some days when I feel, what's going to happen? And so I remember this saying that there's always beauty in the world, and it keeps me on my toes, and it keeps me reminded of the things that mattered truly.
Right. And sometimes less is more. Because imagine, Ren, if you have hundreds of sayings in your posted in that wall, then you get confused which one do I need to read first. But because there are only three, you get to remember the three inspirational quotes.
And I get to see it.
Yes, you get to see it as well. Okay, so we just want to read from the audience. Gina says, good evening.
Good
Daisy, okay,
evening.
Daisy, we know Daisy from Leap. Hi, Sha and Ren, your purpose or calling in life is bigger than your problems. I love that.
Hello,
That's Ren. Hi,
Daisy.
Daisy. Johanna says, just right on time. And
Yay.
then Maria Teresa says, good evening.
Good
Gina says, yes,
evening.
there's a need. Thanks for reminding us. Johanna, class cards and old notes. And then Gina, photo albums, greeting cards, old IDs, high school. So then, what do you do with all these? Love letters of my husband.
Well, looking at these items that she mentioned, photo albums, greeting cards, these seem like sentimental items. If correct me if I'm wrong. And so, if these are items that really have value in you, then make sure that it's in a space, in a box, within easy reach. That at any given time you want to feel inspired or you want to remember or reminisce your memories from when you were younger, you can look at it and enjoy it. And so, if it still works for you, then I could recommend that you keep it in your home if you want. Now, if it's already a lot and there's no more space, then maybe it's time to let go of it. But just remember to say thank you to the item and discard it properly. So, if you notice, the
Mm-hmm.
KonMari method is really very friendly to
Mm-hmm.
whoever is doing the tidying. If you
Right.
want it, then yes, keep it in your home if there's space, but make sure you use it. Make sure you put it in a space that will have that value. Now, if you want to discard of it, say thank you, let go of it, and make sure that you responsibly discard it so that we also do our share in the environment.
Mm-hmm. What if it's painful? What if you discover that there's no more space and the right thing to do is to discard it, but you feel a little heaviness in discarding it? You feel a little sentimental and hurt and guilty in discarding it. So how do you deal with that?
Oh, okay. If that's the case, if there's still some questions in your mind, then maybe you're not yet ready to let it go. Maybe give it some time. Keep it in your home for a few more weeks. And if you really don't use it, then maybe That's also one question that you can answer. See, the KonMari method is very, very simple and straightforward. Of all of the items in your home, Marie Kondo has divided our items in just 5 simple categories. Siya. So
Okay, so
that's
what are those?
clothes, books,
Clothes.
papers, miscellaneous items, and lastly, sentimental items. So the reason why I share those 5 categories is because if you notice, the sentimental items is tackled last. So what do
Yes.
you mean by that? For example, if you're going through your clothes, you love fashion, and there's some items that you're not ready to let go of, then you don't have to deal with it yet. You can keep it in a box and temporarily put it there and label it as sentimental items. And once you go through each and every category, once you're done with the first 3, like clothes, books, papers, more or less, your sensitivity to what sparks for joy to you will be honed, and so it's going to be easier. So then when you reach the harder categories, the miscellaneous items,
Mm.
it's the one that's usually the largest category because you have different items like toiletries, kitchen items, maybe your collectibles. Then you already know that, this is what I like and don't like. And once you reach the hardest, which is the sentimental item, then it's
Mm-hmm.
going to be, I think, faster. So to those of you who are saying, Ren, I don't think I can do this, just follow that simple method, go through the categories that I mentioned, and you'll be surprised that at the end of it, you might be the one who says, oh, I don't need this. I don't need to use this. I can discard this happily.
Wow. Okay. So I love how simple, how Marie Kondo made it so simple using those 5 categories. Because I know that for others, what they do is, for example, they would say that tackle the one area first and another area first, another area. So in the case of Marie Kondo, does she also recommend that, or does she recommend rather the, for example, number 1 is clothes. So if you have clothes in the restroom, in the bedroom, in the guest room, you can tackle clothes first. Is that how she recommends it?
I love your question because that's actually one of the most important tips that she gives in her first book. And Marie always tells us to not tidy by location, but by
Mm-hmm.
category. So before I
Okay.
learned the KonMari method, I was tidying by location. Just like what you said, I would tidy my bedroom first, then my bathroom, then my kitchen. And even though that worked, it wasn't very efficient in a way that when you do it by category, like clothes, all the clothes, for example, all the clothes all over your home, put it in one space. Once you see everything that you own, it's going to be easier for you to, number one, maybe be shocked by the amount of items that you have. Or if you don't have a lot, then you know that, okay, these are all my clothes. Based on all these items in front of me, what are my favorites and what do I want
Mm-hmm.
to keep? What do I want to discard? So that's what we share with the people who do the KonMari method. Tidy by category, not by location.
Category. That is so important because prior to reading the book, the KonMari, prior
Yes,
to reading
I
the
can
book
imagine.
KonMari, I enrolled in a minimalism online course, and
Mm-hmm.
what the teacher taught was to tidy by location. So I tried to do it, and yes, I was able to discard a few items, but I wasn't very satisfied. So when
Mm-hmm.
I read the book KonMari, and I was able to do it
Magic.
by things, it became easier because clothes, it's so easy for me to discard clothes. I have no attachment when it comes to clothes. I think the only issue I have with clothes is when someone gave it to me, even if I haven't used the clothes, or
Yes.
I don't intend to use that particular clothing, I tend to keep it because number one, I feel guilty for throwing it away, and number two, when I see that particular item, it reminds me of that person's love for me.
Oh, so if that's the case, you can put that towards the sentimental item.
Sentimental,
Yeah.
yes.
And one thing I love your learning as well in terms of when you compared one method to the other. What's a practical way why it's important to tidy by categories? Because most of the time we keep our things in different areas of the home. So for
Right.
example, we can have toiletries in our bathroom, maybe in our bedroom. And so if you do it by location, there may be items where you will be able to see first, even and they're new, and then you don't realize that maybe you're throwing out your newer items Because once you reach the bedroom or the next bathroom, then you'll find out, oops, I threw away the older ones and now I'm left. I threw away the newer ones and now I'm left with the older ones. So that's one
Ah,
reason why that tip of tidying by category is very helpful.
wow. So Ren, I know that you've been to a lot of homes already and you've helped your clients tidy up their homes and spark joy in their homes. I know for there's this one particular celebrity that you helped also. Okay. So what was the most satisfying or fulfilling experience for you helping these clients? So what was there before and what was there after?
You see, I don't know why, but I guess the clients that I'm attracted to are those who already have beautiful homes, but they
Okay.
don't get to enjoy it because they have
Uh-huh.
so many things. And
Ah,
so there's a lot of clutter that they don't realize they have. And so one of the clients I just had, she's a homemaker. She has a wonderful home, but she wasn't able to enjoy the things that truly meant something to her. And I guess in terms of habits, she was saying that well, she wanted to buy a lot of things for her family, and sometimes the items that she has for herself, it would be at the back, or she would forget that it happens and she would forget that it exists in that particular space. And so, what I love hearing is at the end of our KonMari journey, they will tell me, Ren, thank you so much. Now I see my collection of plates, of teacups, and I'm so inspired. I'm so happy that I'm able to use it. For others, they would say, Ren, I'm so glad that my kids now want to spend time in our living room because now it's a
wow.
place where they actually have space and we can bond, we can watch movies. And so to me, that's really what makes me so happy. But the others are just bonuses, like when you have a pantry that looks like a beautiful showcase of items. But what they really go back to me and tell me is that they find that the relationships they have in their home with their family members have improved because they fix the physical aspect of their home, but I guess more importantly, there's a part of them, there's an internal fixing also that happens once you set everything in place in your physical surroundings. And I know that's one of my favorite quotes from Marie Kondo. She says that the reason why tidying is so hard for so many people is because sometimes tidying is your way of fixing your internal condition, shown
Wow.
through the physical surroundings that you
Ah,
have.
that is so deep.
Yes, that's why I love KonMari. I hope everyone who's listening will be open to just trying the KonMari method once. And Sha, maybe I just want to emphasize that the KonMari
Yes.
method, we call it the tidying festival. And it's really just
Oh.
supposed to happen once in your life. Once
Mm-hmm.
in your life because once you go through the whole process, you more or less
Wow.
have improved your habits. You already know what you want to bring in the home or what you don't want to bring in your home. And so there, that's why we call it a tidying festival. It may be long. For some people, it can take 3 months. For others, it
Mm-hmm.
can take 6 months to 1 year to finish. But once you do it right and you don't rush it, you won't go back to the clutter anymore. 'Cause for some people, they say, Ren, I tried the KonMari method. I read the book, but why is it that I have clutter now? And I tell them that, did you really do it? Or did you just spend one weekend without going through that whole process of asking yourself what makes you happy? And after I ask them and tell them that question, then they say, oh yeah, maybe I'll do it again with you. And so that's very, very important. Don't rush it, but because for me, the reminder that I always give to them is don't wait too long because the longer you wait, then it's also the longer that you don't enjoy a spark joy home. But also make sure that the process is something that you know that you've already gone through all of the categories, you've answered the questions, and now you're ready to be happy at home.
Tidying Festival. Wow, what a name.
It's
Thank
your
you.
timing festival. And now, as we're going to end the year, I hope a lot of the people we have a lot of times now. There's some holidays coming up. Maybe you can put in some time to start your tidying journey and your tidying festival.
Wow. So Ren, if someone would like to hire you as their consultant for their home, how long will it take for you to help them do the process? For example,
So,
let's say a
mhm,
2-bedroom condo.
it will really depend on the person. So
Mm.
sometimes I have a home that's big, but because the person is okay to let go or to discard, then it can take maybe a process of 2 to 3 months. But someone who can have a small home but finds it hard to let go or to be able to deal with the items can take longer. So it's really going to be up to the person.
Mm-hmm. From your experience, Ren, why is it so hard for us, for people to let go?
I guess for me, coming from my own experience, it's because
Uh-huh.
change is always scary for some people. And to
Mm-hmm.
me, the reason why I've held on to so many of my things before was it was comfortable, it was something I was used to, but also maybe because I was a little bit scared of change. And
Mm-hmm.
so just taking that little step, being a little bit braver for telling myself that okay, maybe I won't have this item anymore, but I'm letting other items go into my life. So I guess that's it.
Yeah.
And also for some people it's a practical reason, like if it's expensive, if it's branded, if it's given by someone, there's the sentimental part of not being able to give it away. But the
Correct.
central question that really helps people is knowing what makes them happy. Once they answer that question as we go through that journey, I've seen that it was easier. And I've worked with a client, I guess 2 months ago, where I was able to we went through all of her letters that was about 50 years old already. And I was surprised because when she went through that whole process, and I wasn't telling her to let go of it, because I was just asking her the questions. You still want this? What's the effect on you? And she was the one who said, okay, Ren, I don't need this anymore. I've read it,
Mm.
I remember these moments, but I'm ready to let go. So if
Wow.
someone can let go of a 50-year-old letter and still be happy, just because now she knows what she values, and that's time with family, that's being able to relax, that's being able to pray at night. And so her home now is filled with items that spark joy for her.
Amazing. And I like what you said about it takes bravery, also, and courage to let go of
Yeah.
things. And also, I just want to share with all our listeners right now that yes, I had the book and I did the KonMari by myself. And then there was also a time wherein I knew I had to discard these particular items in this particular spot in my house. But it
Mhm.
was so hard and painful for me to discard those items. And I think during that process of discarding those items, it took me one weekend to just cry and cry over it. Should I do it? Should I not? And I just it just felt so painful. And what helped, Ren, I'm not sure if you remember our conversations. I chatted with you and I asked you some
Yes, yes.
questions on KonMari, and that really helped me.
Aw,
And
thank
that
you.
gave me the courage to discard those items. And after I discarded those items, I felt so light because in my home, but prior to that, whenever I would see that particular spot, I feel a sense of heaviness.
Mm-hmm.
A sense of, when do I discard that? I don't have the courage to discard that. But now because I don't see it, so the heaviness has been lifted as well. And it felt so much freeing. So
Yes.
thank you, Len.
It's so good. I remember that conversation, and I'm so grateful that it was helpful to you, because I know that. And when people say, is it okay to cry, is it okay to feel this, and I definitely say yes, because these items, they're not just in your home because you can't let go. I think most of these items, they mean so much to you. That's why you've kept it
Yes.
so long. But the question now is, when you feel that maybe I'm ready to let go, maybe there's also a part of you that's ready for growth and ready to just take it one step further into the next chapter of your life.
Yes. So thank you, Ren. That's why I recommend to all the viewers, if you have a hard time doing KonMari or letting go by yourself, it is so important to to hire a coach. And I highly recommend Ren. She's a personal friend of mine, and I've learned a lot from her. So
Aw, thank you.
Thank you,
That really
Ren.
means a lot. That really means a lot, Sha. Especially that, with I said that the KonMari method is all about relationship. And my relationship with you is such a blessing. I've learned so much from you as well. You see, Sha's been so kind telling you that I've helped her, but she has helped me in so many ways. And so thank you very much, Sha.
Thank you, Ren. So let's just read the comments from the readers. Leon says, learning so far. Thanks, heaps.
Hello,
Janice says,
Cher.
hello. And then Liz, okay, I'm not sure what Liz wrote. All right, so Ren, we're about to wrap up. I'm really, really grateful for this conversation that we're having, and I know a lot of people would like to contact you and maybe ask for your help and maybe consult with you on how they can KonMari their home as well. So let us know. Please invite them how they would be able to contact you.
Thank you for that, Sha. So, to those of you who are watching, I hope that you can follow me on Instagram and just look for at World of Yorokobi. Again, that's at World of Yorokobi. And maybe you're wondering, what does Yorokobi mean? It's actually the Japanese word for joy. And so when I was trying to think of a name, I wanted to say thank you to the Japanese part of the method, and also share something that's reflective of me. Since I'm very joyful, that's why I chose World of Yorokobi. And so just send me a message if you feel that you want to tidy your home now during the holidays, or if you feel that you also want to help your friend, your family member to do KonMari. I'll be so happy to support you in your journey. And also, please visit my website. It's www.worldofyorokobi.com.
Yay! Thank you so much, friend. And our interview is so timely because last Sunday we celebrated the Gaudete Sunday.
Yes,
Gaudete means joy.
I love it.
And now as we're approaching the Christmas season, so we're now in that season of joy. So thank you, Ren. Thank you so much for sharing your joy, for sparking joy for us tonight through your tips and sharing about KonMari method. So thank you, Ren, and God bless you.
Thank you, Sha, for this opportunity. And thank you to everybody who tuned in. I wish you a spark joy life, and that will start with a home that sparks joy for you.
Yay! All right. So thank you so much for joining me and Ren in this conversation. Again, you can follow Ren on Instagram, World of Yorokobi, or you can go to her website at worldofyorokobi.com. So Janice says, I have attended Ren's workshop and it was helpful. So thank you, Janice. And also, if you're not yet, if you haven't subscribed yet to my YouTube channel, please do subscribe to my YouTube channel. Just click the link there and it will take you to my YouTube channel. That's where I post more videos on personal development. So again, thank you so much for joining us tonight. See you in our next live. God bless you.